Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Right, let's get the chat up. I'm Mad. Morning. You're the first on. Good to see you. Right, so I'll just get myself organised. Get the side back of my head sorted. Oh, hair's a mess today. Right, anyway. Right. Okay. So today we're going to be good morning, Sean. Okay, we're going to be doing some music production stuff. That's the first thing. And hi, Smart Alec, how you doing? I've just got to sort headphones out. Oh, there's Graham. You don't think it's using right? Okay. Let me have a look. Well spotted. Okay. How does that sound? Mic's low. Is the mic back? That should be working. Right, yeah. So, right. So what I've been doing, like just when I've been doing the odd guitar lesson and coaching session, I've started using Ecamm. You can have like on Ecamm now. It's got Zoom built into it, so I've been using that. Sounds fine, great. So I've been using Zoom, which means flipping my audio settings around, and then I forgot to switch them back. So there we go. That's typical of me. How will I ever remember to do that? So yeah, we've got some music production stuff today. So great morning, Smart Alec. Des, great to see you on here. And great to see Pass Dennis P. Sorry, I always say got dyslexia. No, I really have. I'm fully diagnosed with it, and it's this is why I do music. Because part of my story of why I'm a musician is because basically I failed at all of the subjects at school, struggling because of dyslexia, and I mean, luckily for me, I got diagnosed early on, but it was at a time where they weren't really sure if it was a thing, and a lot of teachers just said I was either stupid or lazy, unfortunately, which isn't quite true. I'm from the UK. English, yeah. But it's funny, that whole school thing, that it's obviously you wouldn't class me as an academic child apart from music. I was like really good at music, so everybody's like baffled why I was good at music and absolutely terrible at everything else. And when I left, I went straight on to do a master's program. I ended up with 2 MAs. 8 in the morning. So it's 6. It's 6 minutes past 6 in the morning. All right. I see you're on Twitch. I mean, I don't know if you're following. Yeah, I don't know if you're following me on YouTube, but that's sort of my main platform, really. So if you can give me like a subscribe on there, that would be amazing. It's just Tim Hutch, and you'll find me there. And the subscription would be greatly appreciated. But either way, it's great to have you on here. And we're going to do some music production stuff, I think, at some point. But I've got to have my coffee, you say. So yeah, before we get started, so I've got a Discord channel as well. So if you want to, all right, now the Discord. Let me just check here. And this, right. So I'll find the link. If you just search on Discord for Hutch, that'll get you there. But what I want to point out is this: there are some new channels on there. I'm just gonna. We've got a new camera angle as well. So see what you think of this. Right, we're this way. We're in the jungle or the garden. What do you think? Quite good. I think I think the beauty thing's on. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be on because I don't need it. But anyway, if I look a bit fake, that's why it's the camera. So yeah, this is the new look, or part of it. And what this is good for is I can now do this, which is great. So we're all organised, and when I'm doing stuff on here, you're not just looking at the side of my head like that or like that. We're here now. It's good, that, isn't it? Amazing, these different perspectives. Oof. Yeah. What's this button do? Alright, I'm down here now. Alright. So I've got on the Discord, the greenery's good, isn't it? I mean, I'll have to come back to the greenery. So yeah, so the greenery is, I can't remember what the company is, but you get it by the square meter, and it's plastic, and it looks really good when you get it. And it's round about, I suppose it would be about $110, $120 per meter. And I did my full wall, which is, I don't know, it's at like 6 foot. The height of the ceiling's about 6'3". No, it's 6'5" by about 2.5 meters. I got all of that done for about $500. And I've got a green wall now, and it was dead easy to fit. Apparently, I didn't fit it. I got a guy to come out and do it. But you can just fit it yourself. It's just like plastic, and you can kind of make it into whatever. It kind of all clips together, and you can make it whatever size you want. So that was the new, yeah. And it's just quite nice having a bit of greenery in your house, isn't it? And then sort of out of all, I had a sort of trying to work out the camera angles been interesting. So I'm not quite decided fully on it, but I thought you don't have to water it. It's not real. It's just plastic. Yeah. It's just plastic. God, could you imagine? I mean, if it was water, it wouldn't be probably good for you because you'd be breathing in that much plant stuff. It would be moisture, wouldn't it? You would start growing fungus on your lungs, I think. So I don't think it would be a very good idea, to be fair. So yeah. But yeah, this is the new angle. So I think sometimes, depending on what I'm doing, it might be completely over the laptop pointing down. I thought this is quite nice because, like, it's quite it's a little bit more informal because I'm looking at my computer, and then if I want to stare at you, I can look into the camera and, talk some sense into the world of music production, at least today. So we've got so I was asking people to just post in questions on Discord. So if anybody's got any questions, then type them in there. So Sean, we're going to look at yours today. So Sean, I'll just read it out. So, been getting in the weeds with layering a lot of synths and figuring out what works best for having them sit on their own frequencies, so it just doesn't sound like a mush. Also, layering rhythm guitar on top of that. Any pointers would be greatly appreciated. Right, so we can do that. We can kind of build a track maybe and look at something along those lines. And then tomorrow we're going to do Trolls, okay? Now, Trolls this is a really interesting one, but we'll do it tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be about guitars. The other thing we've got is in the channels. So we've got the general channel, which is talking about stuff, right? But the most important channel, right, for all of us, well, they're all important, is the accountability. So I would like to see people posting in the accountability. So, and this is a thing you fall on and off with, but when you do it, I can guarantee whatever you put into this accountability, you'll do it. Okay, so whether it's something to do with your guitar practice, music production, finishing music, all right, it can all go into the accountability. And I can hold you accountable if you want. I don't have to publicly do it. But I'm certainly going to be doing my accountability. So we'll do that now. Right. So accountability is I'm going to do for live stream. So I'm going to do 4 morning live streams. That's the first thing. 1 evening live. Either Wednesday. Saturday. And then I'm going to do 7 splurges. We'll do 7. That's just 7 ideas. Do 7 splurges, which isn't that many. And we'll do 7 splurges and practice position and will and micro practice 2 1 2 Pentaphonic, pentatonic. There we go. So I'm leading how we mean to go on here. Leading from the front. So I've done my accountability there. So I'm going to do my 4 morning live streams. I need to do 1 evening stream per week, preferably. So we'll start this week. And I'm going to do 7 splurges. And we'll do and for my micro practice I'm focusing on the 2 1 2 pentatonic shapes. So in the accountability, if you can, try and make whatever you put in here measurable in some way, that's always best. So you've noticed I've got I'm mentioning numbers all the time. Numbers are great. If you're ever in an interview and you mention numbers to people who are listening, or in business, everybody listens, don't they? At least by putting numbers in, whatever you're putting down is measurable. And also everything here is very concrete. It's basically, Tim, did you do your 4 morning sessions plus 1 evening session? No, I did not. Or yes, I did. Yeah. So that's what I'm putting in there, so the group can hold me accountable, and we'll see how I go this week. So you could use the accountability in a couple of different ways. You could, for example, just do a daily accountability. So if you just, what is it you're working on today, you could put it in there. Oh, it's not there yet, but there will be also. It's dangerous to put it down. It's not if you want to do it, but it's just great because now I'm going to do it. It's like, and it can just be, so Smart Alec, you could just put something down there that's small, It's dangerous to put it down, you're committed, yeah. So, Smart Alec, what would you put down? It could be just a bit of guitar practice. It could be one particular thing that you're practicing. You could put that down in the accountability thing this week, and then any sort of problems you're having, you can talk about it on here, and there will be help at hand, or we can talk about it on the live. But this is what it's like being a working musician, isn't it? You have to go out there and do something, and it is going to be in front of people, so technically whatever you do, it's going to be accountable. But if you're just playing for fun and stuff like that, but you are frustrated with a particular technique, or you're frustrated with a particular maybe a routine or something like that you keep missing sessions or whatever, and you just want to stick with it, then the accountability is the perfect way. And I can actually guarantee that anybody who sticks stuff in here, right, you'll do it. It'll light a fire under you, and your perception of time changes. It's not like you're getting more time, but when you hold yourself accountable, then what happens, okay, is suddenly time appears. You stop wasting time. You'll still have time for your families. You'll still do all the wonderful things, right? But you'll be so more acutely aware of your time. You'll give up a bit of social media. You'll do things that'll actually just. I'm not saying it's just do smart. This is to the world. You'll start doing things subconsciously that will help you achieve your goals. And I don't want to take the fun out of music. This is all to do with the fun. This is the fun of the chase, isn't it? But this is how you get good at things, like turning up on a regular basis and doing a little bit rather than doing tons one day and then nothing for weeks. We need to kind of just, spread that out. Now, the good thing about this is, being accountable. As long as you do it, right, as long as you put something in the accountability form, if you don't do it, okay, that is fine, because part of being a professional musician, right, is fixing things that don't work. All right. So for example, I've got the beauty filter on this camera, right, and it shouldn't be on. I'm not real enough. In fact, I'll just turn the camera around and I'll switch it off. 2 seconds. Let's see if I can do it. Off. Right, there we go. I'm back. That's better. I'm like a real person now instead of some plastic AI. So, you can just put something simple down. So it might be just, working on inside picking motions. And then you could name like one simple 4-note exercise, and that, you're going to do 5 minutes of it daily. Okay. It could be that you're working for a performance. It could be that here's Sean. Sean's put something in. The horror. I know, honestly, Alec, I can tell now, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. There is probably lots of things that you want to work on, and you're on the edge and you're going to put something in. Just dip your toe in. I can tell there's something you want doing. It's not like accountability isn't a hall of shame, right? I'm just as interested in myself when I fail to do something. When I fail to do something, it means great, right? Well, I've failed. What went wrong? Okay, and then you can, you solve those problems. We create new knowledge for ourselves, as I always say. Okay, we create new knowledge for ourselves by doing, by solving problems. If we do nothing, what happens? If we do something and it goes wrong, well, why did it go wrong? I mean, how many times did it take the guy to get the Dyson to work? All right, I think there's something like 10,000 iterations of it. Okay, so just put something in and you'll do it, and you'll see the gains. And I'm only saying this to everybody because I've done this on the coaching forums as a coach and by somebody who's been coached, and I know that by doing this, it really focuses my mind on everything that can potentially support me as a musician. It's firing your brain up. I mean, this is like the best thing ever. Because you're gonna do the thing, you're gonna focus on it, you're gonna have this accountability thing going, and you're gonna want to get the results. All right, so Phantom Shade's put something in already. Now, Phantom Shade is saying getting a track into draft phase by Friday. So that means he's either splurging or got some stuff in there, or he's in the discovery phase. So that's very good. So when we're writing music, we have like the splurging, which is something I'm going to do whilst doing some music production stuff, and making music without any judgment. And then when we listen back to our music, like anything, because usually when you splurge in the short ideas, we're not spending hours and hours on a track. It's just as soon as you feel like the session's sort of like you're losing the vibe or whatever, or you can't think of anything else, it's just that's the end of that splurge, that basic splurging thing. But you can knock out quite a few of these ideas, and we want to be doing it almost unconsciously, really, because we're trying to splurge in like the free writing of music. It's to get through the conscious layer into the subconscious, where all the good stuff is, and then. When we go into the discovery phase, because we've done all of this splurging, which is basically, conditions of splurging are speed, excitement, time dilation, chaos. All right, so you're not being, ooh, right, I need to be really careful with this kick drum and pick the right kick drum. Right, I've got the right kick drum now. Let's find the correct snare. It's not that you just bang, 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 bang. There it is. But the next phase is probably where Sean is, Phantom Shade, that he is doing some discovery sessions. And discovery sessions are just you working out the question that you're trying to ask about your splurge is, what does the music want to be? So like, what is the purpose and what is the story? What's the hook? And then when you sort of like in the process of answering that question and in its most basic form, you're looking at different variations of that idea. Can you get a verse out of it? Can you get a chorus out of it? Or like if it's an emotional journey, you might be starting to experiment with, if it was the splurge, if the emotion of the splurge was anger, then maybe you want to express love for a section. So you're writing contrasting sections that could possibly that will make up the draft, okay? But we're just looking at what the music wants to be and what possible variations are there. When you're coming into draft, that's sort of like, well, okay, we are now building what's called the arc. So this is the overall journey or story, or beginning, middle, and end, and that's when you can put all your potential verses and choruses and bridges and sections together. So that's where Phantom Shade Sean is what he's doing. One thing I will say to Phantom Shade is that if you've got a number of tracks in a discovery phase, maybe it's worth doing a cycle on them. So when you're cycling, you just you work on one, and then you feel like half an hour, move to the next one, work it on half an hour, work on the next one for half an hour. So you might do 3, because you should at any one time you shouldn't be doing more than 4 or 5 in discovery. I know you can work on things in parallel, so you got to be careful depending on how many you have in there based on how much time you have during the week. So if you plan ahead, what you can do is, and you can do a session, like if you have 3, then it's an hour and a half session, isn't it? You can do half an hour on each track, and then you can cycle them. And then what will happen then is you'll have 3 tracks spinning off and then going into drafting. So just a thing there. So accountability, do put some stuff in there. I'd love to see some people putting things in there. But in general, if you've got any stuff that you want to talk about me to cover on the channel, you can do. Coaching room is basically, I suppose, when you're being accountable, if there's things that you're finding challenging, you can ask questions in the coaching room, and I can help you there. So it's all coming together. It's all getting organised. Music feedback. I thought I'd put that up there because everybody else can give everybody else feedback on their music. But actually, the way I do music feedback is entirely different to anybody else. I'm just interested in you, putting your music up on the music feedback. And then there's one question that I will ask you. And the first one is how did you feel about it? But there is a process of feedback that I will talk about at some point. So if you put your music in there, and it's not the usual feedback at all. It's like I'm not going to say you need to turn the snare down or anything like that. But I will give you some potential insight in how you. Because the thing is, right, when you're giving feedback to people, like, why give them advice and tell them things that they can't hear? Because at the end of the day, they become reliant on that feedback. Oh, I didn't hear that. The snare was too loud. Well, it's all ear training, and to become good at music, a lot of that is awareness. It's like making music, mixing music is no different really from playing guitar. It's like we have moments where we're in bliss, beautiful ignorance, and we think everything's great, and then suddenly we discover a problem and like think, oh, my playing's gone crap. And that's because we become aware of a problem. And what we're trying to do is, what I'm trying to do is increase everybody's awareness, because the more aware of you are with your music, the more chance you are of finding problems, okay, and then being able to fix them, and then being able to fix them yourself by coming up with a strategy. So music feedback's there really for that purpose, not for me to say it's good or bad. I mean, at the end of the day, when you finish a piece of music, all you need to do is just say to yourself, is this a good example of what it wants to be? And that's it, release it. You don't even have to finish everything on your list. If you think there's nothing to done and you're vibing with it, then maybe it's done. And if you're at that phase and then you're sitting on the fence about releasing it because you're not sure, at the end of the day, that music doesn't. The way I think about it is the music doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the world. And basically, there's a book called The War of Art, and the last page, and it's very harsh. Everybody should read it. But basically, it says, if you were a medical scientist and you had the cure for cancer, would you not release that cure because you felt, anxious about what people would say? You wouldn't. You would release it. And I think at the end of the day, when we're sitting with music, and it's finished, and that's what we want to be doing, and we're sitting on the fence of it, then it's our duty to release that music, because that music will, potentially it's going to give somebody a good day. Somebody's going to love that music, no matter. I've wrote so much music that, like, I've just thought, this is really bad, this is horrible, I'm a terrible person, like, why would anybody like this? And then that's usually all the music that people do like. And they're like, oh, this is amazing, this is a banger, Tim. That used to happen to me all the time, and I just got to the point where I was like, well, I think it's, it's in the right shape, it's doing the right things. I'm not sure myself. Let's put it out and see what happens. And sure enough, it made somebody's day, and I've always been glad that I've always done that. introducing yourself might be a good thing as well. So sorry, yeah, yeah. And then we've got music production, so anything you want to put in there would be good. And gear. If you want to just tech out, why not tech out? But there's a few of the rooms. There will be some more added later. But the main room for me this week has to be accountability. All right then. Any questions? No, I think we're all right. Wrong one. I'm back again. Right, so I'll get rid of Discord for now, and we should be back to here. All right, I've got the thumbs up from Sean. That means we're all cool, yeah. Right, okay. So we're gonna try. We're not gonna try. We're gonna do. I was told off for saying that. We're always doing. We're never trying. So a splurge. Here we go. Maybe 105 BPM for a change, and can't think of anything. So I'm gonna just have a look for a little backgroundy noise thing. Oh, what are these textures? Pitched. Right, that's good. Stick it in. I don't know what key it's in though. Got on the wrong channel, haven't I? There we go. Oh, I like that. That's good atmosphere. So I've got this really handy. So I've got a special channel for textures, and on it I have this Max for Live device called Filter, and it does a good job of it. Let's just see what key it's in. We're in F minor, so yeah, we'll go for F minor. Why not? Well, it's not everybody's favourite key to play in, but we'll be all right. So straight away I'm getting really strong vaporwave type vibes. Right now, I'm going to do something here because I want to answer Sean's question about layering. So we're going to think about layering throughout this process, but this is something I would do maybe it's at the end, some of the detailed stuff that I'm doing. Okay, so user, let's see what I've got in the vaporwave department. So I'll just audition some of these. Right, that's my drums, and then we're gonna build something. So straight away, there's going to be problems with this kick. Because it's really long. And that's going to like take up the whole low end. Right, so before I start... Okay, so that's really good. So we'll put the bass on it, and then we're going to have a look at the kick and the bass and see how we get around. I'll just bring the chat in, right, and then so one thing I do, right, is I just have like one bass preset dialed in, and then I just modify that, rather than going through like lots of different, bass sounds. I can just really get a vibe with this one sound. So let's have a look. We'll put something in like that. Right, and then we'll stick a swing on it. Let's try. Logic 62. Alright, let's go. Let's get all swingy here. Oh. Using the wrong one, aren't I? Right. Want that one. So first thing is, you know, you can, if you've got a quick way to build your sounds, you know, you can quickly tweak something. So if it's, you know, a bit dark and not doing what you want, we can brighten it up. So, in terms of like kick and bass and getting things to layer correctly, one thing you can do is we can shorten the kick. A lot of the time, people put kick drums on stuff that are too long. So we can just solo the kick and the bass. Oh, is it not? Right. So that's one way you could do it. Another way is right, when I'm listening to this kick, like if you wanted all that tail on it, one thing I've done is I've monoed it. And we could get like an EQ, so you could use Pro Q3, or you could just use your Ableton stock. In fact, I'll use the Ableton. It's more sort of universal in it. So you get EQ8, and we can go into mid side, go to the sides, and then we can take off all the low end from the sides of the kick. It's mono again. can even boost. And that's another interesting part of stereo widening. There are a lot of stereo widening plugins that you can get, and they'll widen from a certain frequency point or all of the frequencies. Sometimes they can sound a little bit phasey. So what I like to do is, I use Pro Q3, so we can see it a bit more clearly that the fundamental of the kick drum, we don't want that. We don't want to be high passing that, but we don't want it to be stereo. So if we're going to mid side, what I can do is, and you can audition it. That's what I'm cutting off. So you can do that. Woof, woof. And then that leaves us the basically the top of the kit. And you can find a nice, if you want to widen something, if you just go into mid-side mode and just find something you want to widen. And then you've got that nice you've got that wideness happening. Just on the kick. Now, I haven't really done any, apart from the high pass on the sides, I haven't really done any high pass or anything like that, because there's a decent roll off. I can see where the kick drum is, so I don't really need to do anything too heavy there. On the bass though, we do have a little bit of track spacer, which is, now this is set to the kick. And it's just doing a tiny bit of ducking, but I am using the filter cut. So I'm allowing it to only duck where the fundamental of the kick is. You can see there. And then the rest of it's blocked off. So that's the other thing, it's just side chaining the elements that need side chaining, unless you're doing, you know, that whole dance ducking thing, in which case you could use a volume. Sidechain ducking if you want to hear it and get a nice groovy curve on that, so it like all goes nicely with the music and adds to the groove. With this, we're not doing that. We're just simply trying to knock the kick out of the way. Sorry, knock the bass out of the way of the kick every time it happens. But if I want to layer a top bass, so that's with nothing kind of on it, and we have so in here there's a lot of low end blur, and they're definitely those two sounds are definitely fighting. Now one thing I've got on here is have a look. Yeah, I'm using some widening, so let's just get it in mono. So you can hear there the fight has been removed. Now all I've done there is I've used the SSL, and I'm just using the high pass filter. And then you can widen if you want. I'm quite liking the mono-ness of that for now. But again, this is like a mono sound, right? So using something like the BX Stereo. And just aiming it. So I've given it a little bit of stereo action there. Thing I'm trying to play. Alright, here we go. Alright. So another thing is, because I'm using a stereo field in this, not everything's mono, and there's a lot of stereo things going on here. I'm using mono synths and then making them stereo, which makes it easier for me to control kind of what's happening across the field. So all I have here in terms of my layering is there's some high pass filtering going. Now all I do, I'll switch the widening bit off, right? So it's just mono that. So we can hear there's, I'm using the sub oscillator to thicken that sound up. So it's gonna get on the top that. Now, as soon as I put widening on, a little bit of the clash is solved, but there's still too much low end and it's just stepping on everything else. So what we can do there is So we're still retaining the power there. And we can hear everything. Now we can just add a bit of the widening magic. So I have this shaper box rack that I built, and all it's doing is it's auto panning, and it's using a little bit of Hass effect as well. Right, well, we'll stick some chords on. And then that's the next bit of layering we need to put on. I'll just check the chat. Alright. Yeah, it's really good track space as Sean. What's that little pop note? Oh yeah, so there's like a little bit of a glitch. Right, that's the envelope on the bass. Sometimes you'll get this when the envelope's too fast. So all we've got to do is it just means it's cutting, but it actually this synth has a D click attack and release. It's gone now. And that's just to do with like the attack and release on SH101s are really fast, so you get that clickiness because it's cutting off halfway through a wave cycle. If you get that on your sidechain with like Ableton sidechains, you can't really, you have to just mess about with the attack to get rid of it. If you're using sidechain envelopes, like volume envelopes, all you do is you just remove the release part slightly so there's a fade out, and then that's how you do it. You just fade the audio out. There we go, D-clicked. Chords, right, so we're going to make some chords, and we'll have a pad so it goes all the way through. Because this is, you know, I'm creating a problem here. Want. That last chord's going to be weird. Don't know what I'm going to do for that anyway. We'll worry about that when I get to it. Right on. Sounds like a 1950s horror film when I do that. That's what you sound like when you wake up, Chili. Brilliant. Yeah, me too. Ugh. Why did I do that? Right, so I think I'll just start extending these chords, I think. No. I'll leave it as sus. Right, I need to invert that. Oh, it's shades of rhythm, that chord. That's every time I see the girl. Repeat. It's a stinker, that last chord. Let's have a look, closer listen. It sounded so good in the bass. God, what can I do with that? Any ideas? G. Yeah, okay. Go F. B3. And then we'll stick a C in there. Right, B flat. That should do it. There you go. So I'm just doing this. I've made it into a G11. Right, so because today is about layering, we've got a real problem to solve here. So a couple of ways you can do it. If you're wanting the, if you can't hear the chord, then you can just bounce it up an octave. So if we listen to all the other parts. So we can get this whole thing, push it up an octave, see what that's like. Okay. Now, if that's not the vibe you're wanting and kind of the first octave sounded good, one way you can get rid of the clashes without even touching an EQ is to remove the bass notes. So I've just muted them off. And I tend to mute things I don't tend to like delete them just in case I need them later on in the track. Okay, so that's sounding more like the vibe. Now, if it's a little bit muddy, what you can start doing is just taking the bottom part of the chord and inverting it upwards. Okay, so now I'm kind of removing that from the mids, which is what the human ear finds hard to hear. And then we can just move the notes up. So I'm liking that kind of lower down vibe for this. Then if it's an issue of clarity in your mix, sometimes if there's if you want something to stick out of your mix in terms of synths when you're layering them, what you want to do is use different waveforms. So there's a lot of like square and sawtooths going on here, and I kind of know this already. So this Juno patch that I have to do the chords is set more to like a square sine wave thing, which is why we can hear it. See, it's like an EQ, that pitch width modulation, kind of. Just pushes the higher mids out a little bit. Of course, you can always use the high pass filter that's on the synth as well if you want to get rid of some low end mush. Right. Let's do some guitars. Right, what is it I'm meant to be playing here? Any of the notes. So going F, E flat, A flat 2. Oof. Just tuning up. Another different. Oh, it's going to take a bit of tunes. There we go. Right, close enough. Just tune the strings you need, eh? Right. Some stuff clashing there, and those fives. That's one done. Group that. So the timing's really good, and there's like literally no latency on these on the polychrome plugins. Just an absolute dream to track with. Okay, and then finally, we're up to the guitar layer. So, I think with heavy guitars, right, so I've got my left and right channels here, and there's nothing going on apart from the McRocklin Suite plugin that's on there. Which one is it? Yeah, and that's like everything's grouped. Okay, now the first thing, like I always do, is just when it comes to like these crash guitars, is you just pan them hard left and hard right, and then just get them to a volume. You know, volume's your main tool when you're layering, really. Volume and space in terms of using the stereo field panning. Okay. And auto pan and things like that. So those are the main sort of areas you're going to go for in terms of layering to get clarity. Then your next tool is the filtering, so just like cutting the edges off sounds to make them kind of fit as well, so you're getting rid of the overlaps. And then it's kind of becomes more detailed work where you're doing a bit of EQing on sort of the mids or lower mids, removing mud. Although you need to be careful, because like sometimes just like using dynamic EQs, like things that are momentary and dynamic, is a lot better, because you don't weaken the mix. But we can do a bit more of that later. But anyway, So the guitars are hard panned left and right. So at least like the center channels are clear for the you know, at least the kick, bass, snare. In fact, we can check stuff as well. Right, I need to find this tool. Let's have a look. Right, I haven't got it on, so let's have a look. Just gonna do a little save here. Calling it Sean as it was his question. There we go. So. God, I've completely forgotten what I was talking about. Oh yeah. You like this? There's a couple of cool little tools right here. One is a Pomodoro timer. I know it's there it is. So I can time things. I'll tell you what, I'll start time, give myself another 10 minutes. Right, now there's this really handy live rack. By Zed Drewy, or Zed Drew. He's a fairly new YouTuber, but he's an Ableton Live, bit of an Ableton Live expert. And he's got this, he's made this tool with Ableton Live plugins that allows you to just audition what's actually going on in your mix. So, Sean, you probably need to make a note of this because this is going to be important in solving what you're doing. So what this allows us to do is hear different areas of our mix. So for example, I'm interested in the sides, right? Right, so I'm just hearing the sides. And I can hear there's a lot of off the guitars there, right? So we've removed a lot of bleh out of there. And then just go back. And then we can look at the mids. Add that synth back. So here what I did there is I've put an envelope on the kick, so we're just listening to the sub. It's like being on a submarine, isn't it? Being depth charged. So I've just removed some of the tail off that low end. And then if you feel like, okay, I'm losing a bit of power off my kick, you can put that in. So and there's a couple of ways we can do that. We can use where is it? Depending on how you want to do it, we've got a number of options. One is we can do that, just get the mid band, pull that kick up. Or option 2, you'd use something like a bass generator. So I mean, that's making good work of it. I'll do. Right. Let's have a look at the chat. All right, so that is Sean's question, layering. All right, does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask me on what they've just seen? Oh, I don't know why that's happened. Hi Josh, how you doing? No, that's better late than never. Right, I'm just on my coffee break. In fact, actually, I should have my coffee break over here, as it's a new scene, isn't it? Right. So it's a bit like I'm in a little garden, isn't it? I've got my little foliage here. I've got like that's the garden wall. I've planted some guitars. Looks cool. Yeah. It's like, honestly, it's been a labour of love trying to get it to work, because normally you just have your lighting pointing one way, wouldn't you? And that would be all of your scenes. But I'm in an L shape, so like the front lights have to be backlights, and then the backlights have to be front lights. Everything goes like the other way on. So one thing I'd be interested to know is, you see that light behind me? Does anybody find that annoying? Because I can switch it off. Or at least I could when it was working. So I was wondering about that. But I mean, I'm pretty cool with it. So that's like the front light for here, isn't it? And then it's the backlight when I'm looking the other way. Magical. I like it. All right. So anyway, that's a little bit of layering. Now, what I will say though is, when you're writing music, don't do any of this finessing, as they say, on getting the right sound, like filtering things. Just it needs to be in the ballpark, and then just move ahead, because quality is in the musical idea. Right, excellent. No, that's good, Sean. So when you're thinking about layering, just layer. Don't worry about like filters and things like that, and just concentrate on the notes and the writing. That's the most important thing. All of this stuff can be done later on down the line when you get to the release phase, especially if you're doing a lot of guitars. Like, if you're splurging on guitars, you don't want to think about getting the right performances down. It's, you just want to get a performance down. Always remember that when you make a mistake, there's a hidden intention, and you can solve that later. Your especially like over time, if you what was that noise? If you're writing a ton of music, you just want to get the idea down, and then when you come back to hearing that mistake, your brain will tell you what that was meant to be, and chances are you'll come up with something much better. In fact, you will come up with something much better than you would have by trying to perfect something. The other thing you find is when you're recording a lot of guitars, when you actually come to the end of the project, a lot of those you're going to re-record anyway. So why try and get something perfect? Not that perfect exists very early on. It should really be all about the ideas, and then moving forward. So effectively, what you're having by the time you get to the release of a track, the final stage where, right, this all needs tidying up and rendering out, that you have a very clear blueprint of what that music's going to be, and then you just record it. You just re-record all the bits that you need to, keep the bits that you don't, and you know exactly what you're doing. And then if there are any other final ideas at the end, you can add those in as well. So you're covering all areas, really. Yeah, cool. So, and if everybody could join, if you haven't joined my Discord, join the Discord. There's a few more channels up, and I'll just point it out again to the people who maybe just come on. Look, there's my Discord channel, completely empty, but here we go. In the accountability. Now, if there's something that you want to be held accountable for, that you're trying to achieve in your music, whether it's like finishing a mix, starting something, practicing something on guitar, you can put it down there. I've put mine down for this week. It'd be good to see people putting stuff in there. It will turbocharge your creative output, I can guarantee that. So if you want to be held accountable, not that I'll public shame you or tell you off or anything like that, but it's a good motivator. I know that. There will be, I don't know why it's there, but there will be a success channel as well. So obviously when we get through doing what it is that we're doing during the week, we can post our successes in there. And we've also got the coaching here. So when we, yeah. So also, with the accountability, we've got the coaching room. So, like me many times when you don't actually do the thing that you set out to do, or you partially don't do it. There's always a reason why you don't do it. Then that can be a discussion, and we can all learn from that, you know. And that's it, really. I've run out of material for the session now. But tomorrow is going to be interesting because there is a question tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing guitars, and I might have to. I'm really, really excited to get stuck into this one. So here's a sneak preview. Here's a sneak preview about tomorrow's stream. So this is from Troll. Okay, so he'll probably be still tucked up in bed, but when he wakes up, you can hear this. So Troll is saying, I have a guitar practicing learning question for you all. This is everybody. So we can all become one brain on this. So I guess most of you are familiar with the Troy Grady videos. Very cool production. But been watching them for been watching several of these guitarists and remembering Yngwie's famous words when he was asked how he does it. His answer was, "I don't know." He had to look down to say, "My biggest takeaway from this is that there is no rule or no one way to do it. They all have their slightly different approaches and ways of doing things. Of course, there is some obvious basic stuff like putting the thumb above the neck for strength or the thumb behind the neck for speed and wider stretches. But is there any technique you guys have been working on that you felt was wrong for you? Like, this isn't working for me. Time for a different approach. How long did it take before you figured it out? Was it wrong? And how long did it take for you to fix it? Or are you still struggling with it? Hope my question makes sense. Well, that's going to be an interesting talk for tomorrow, because I'll tell you what, anybody who's been following my trials and tribulations and existential threat that I had when I decided to do economy picking, this is what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. So I'll be talking about that, and then I'll be talking about what my approach to this and my take is upon what these players are, referencing my own journey through technique. So I'll be making notes on that. So I'm gonna, there's all, Troy Grady's great, but there are these unanswered questions, and basically, I'll be able to take you through. I'll be able to show you the blind areas that I found. Okay, that I had to kind of figure out myself, which you will find super, very, very helpful. But I think it's going to be. I'm going to have to take you through the history of my technique for you to kind of fully understand that. And I know that the fact that when I do that, everybody who's going to be on will get a lot of identification, because you'll find out, how the weird thing is how similar we all are. It's like we have the same operating system in a way. And the struggles are the same, but obviously the approaches to overcome things are sometimes overwhelming and infinite. And it's, what do you... And then there's time, isn't it? We want to invest our time well, and when you're learning a new technique, it can mean investing a lot of time, and then, you don't get the time back if it all goes wrong. But is it really going wrong when you do that? This is the question. And we'll be talking about all of this. Oh, I'm so excited. This is going to be great tomorrow. I hope I don't wake up and completely forget and do something else. So somebody do remind me, but I am gonna prepare. I am going to reflect on this question today. So it's really good. Discord and live streaming are two brilliant things. So keep these ideas coming, I want to hear, because you're getting, I'm not saying I'm an expert and brilliant or anything, but I can definitely share a lot of stuff. I can definitely give you a lot of insights. That's what it's all about. And if you really, really, really want to go to the next super level of doing stuff, there's another 2 levels really after this. One is joining one of my coaching groups, very reasonably priced at $237. If you don't get it, don't like it, money back guarantee. Just join for a month and do your thing. we meet with that coaching group. We meet every week for 2 hours, okay? And you're in a group of no more than 4 people, and we make music, and that's what we do. And I'll take you through various making music techniques, of which we will discuss and course correct, and you will get insights, and you will be able to then practice for the next sessions, and then we'll do something else. And I'll take you through the creative process that I use, which is the machine, where creativity is modularized. So when I'm talking about splurging and discovery, drafting and releasing and done, you'll know all about that, and you'll also be able to work on music in parallel and actually really be able to churn a ton of music. I'll write it down, but where am I going to put it? Where will I remember when I write it down, Chili? Anyway, so there's that, and then there's the GoPro group. So anybody who's basically wanting to do this madness full time and make money out of it and live off it, then that's the group for you. Post-it note on the screen. Yeah, but it'll make it look all untidy. I'll ask my missus to remind me, because like she tells me what to do anyway. She tells me when to eat, tells me when to like get up and walk about, when to hoover the stairs, so she can tell me about that, can't she? I'll remember, don't you worry. But as I say, you know, in general, I would love lots of suggestions for what I can do on the lives in terms of question answering stuff, coaching. Any queries you have, just put them in on the Discord, and it'll become material. Because I'm really liking this. This works. If people did this every day, it would be brilliant. Right, and then I'm liking that shot too much. I'm gonna come over here now. Oh, right, there we go. We're out of the garden. And then back to the real world. So I think that's it for me, because I'm starting to mumble on and stuff. And I'll see you all, because I put it in the accountability, so I'm going to definitely be here tomorrow morning. I can feel it, and it's all exciting. So I'll see you tomorrow morning. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.